Fire Howard. Fucking fire. Motherfucker. Stupid motherfucker. What an idiot. What an idiot. Dallas has Amari Cooper and Gallup, but we don't need a receiver. Are you kidding me? I don't want Justin Jefferson. He's ass. He's stupid. I fire his ass. I fire his ass. I mean, how he's got to be stupid. What are you doing? You just let Dallas take him.
Rex, what is the first thing we say coming out of that matchup between those two quarterbacks?
I mean, an all-time classic. Again, like every time these two cats go at it, and we mentioned just them because it really is about the two most talented guys we've ever seen play the position. But, I mean, the game lived up to everything we were wanting it to, and unfortunately for the Bills, it's just a few missed opportunities.
Just
and
a
couple
few
of deep
missed
balls.
opportunities.
They just make a play on one of those things. Are we looking at a different game? It's just, but man, oh man, as a fan of this game, I mean, I wish we get to see it again.
Yeah.
You know?
It sucks that someone has to lose.
Yeah.
It sucks that somebody has to lose.
Y'all didn't do what y'all was supposed to do.
All right, you want
that ain't.
All right,
have anything. Let him play. So, like, this game was what it was supposed to be. This game was about the two most talented quarterbacks in the entire world going back and forth. And we've seen it before. We saw it in the divisional playoff round a few years ago, which was why we named this the new Brady Manning competition, right? The new Brady Manning saga. But when we look at this game, once again, Patrick Mahomes beats Josh Allen. And we sit on this show and we consistently say how great Josh Allen is, and I agree.
Not me.
But we start to grade Josh Allen on a curve. When we were on the call this morning, it felt like I was listening to LeBron fans before he took his talents to South Beach. It was Josh did this and Josh did that. We were on the phone for 20 minutes and Greeny didn't even know I was on the phone because y'all waxed poetically about how great the loser of this game was.
He is great.
Rightfully so.
He is great.
He was
RC, this is the second time we've watched this guy go head-to-head against Patrick, and he's been inarguably, at worst, the second best player on the field, if not the best player in the field, and lost both times. Both times because he was let down. He was let down a couple years ago by the defense with 13 seconds. He was let down yesterday by 3 massive drops in that football game. That the
drops
difference
count
in this
now?
game in many ways comes down to one quarterback, Patrick, had his guys make plays, and one quarterback didn't. That's a perfect throw to Sherfield down the left sideline. That ends up in a drop. Kansas City defender does not.
So Watson wasn't there to make that a hard catch.
That's a perfect throw to Sherfield on 3rd and 15 or something.
I ain't never seen a perfect throw where you had to lay out laterally to catch it.
This is a perfect throw to Stephon
That's a perfect
Diggs.
throw.
Perfect throw.
So
that's a perfect throw.
The one to Sherfield, the play, that's a perfect. That's 65 yards in the air.
Hey,
Oh, God, Dan, get off his nuts.
But we don't make one of those.
But
Get off his
here's
nuts.
my question.
Yeah.
Right? Because we want to come here and we want to defend Josh Allen. You don't have to defend him.
Yeah.
You could say straight up, Josh Allen is an absolute dude.
Right.
Josh Allen has shown up for this team when he's needed to, except for when he's needed to most. Josh Allen took the checkdowns the entire game. I get it. To you, it's the right throw, and it can be the right throw. But if it's the right throw, you have to make it. And yes, Bass misses the field goal, but if we take the crosser and we get a catch and run, and we get a little further, we now give ourselves more
if
downs,
cans
so
and
Patrick
butts were
Mahomes
nuts,
doesn't get the ball.
we'd all
and
have a Merry
If we do
Christmas.
kick it, it's not kicking it from where it is in the elements. Here's the truth.
Okay.
The last 2 years, right, the Buffalo Bills have done what they've had to do to have the divisional game in their stadium.
Yep.
Joe Burrow came there. He walked into your trap.
27
and he
to
took
10.
over your trap. Patrick Mahomes came in there. He walked in your trap and he took over your trap. At some point, Josh Allen is going to have to beat the other great quarterbacks in the
There you
AFC.
go.
Everybody else, the other quarterbacks, we're 5-0. 0-3 against Patrick, 0-1 against Joe, and the one against Joe is at our crib. At some point, y'all gotta say he's coming up short. We don't say Tom Brady is the greatest of all time because he's the most talented. But in part, it's because he's the best when he needs to be the best.
There you go.
Because Adam Vinatieri made some huge kicks when they mattered the most. RC, there's no way that we watched that game and yesterday, just to put into context.
This shit is crazy.
The 3rd-and-9 throw. I'll give you that Josh needed to make one more throw or one more decision. He's going up against a top 3 defense I don't think Steph has played like a number 1 receiver right now in football.
Okay, I get
Gabe
that.
Davis not in it. So he's out without at least his number 2. Steph not
How many
playing
drop
to that
passes
elite
Pat
level
Mahomes guys had
Kansas
this
City's
season?
top 3 defense. 27 first downs. That's the most anybody's had against Kansas City this year. No sacks. No one's done that against Kansas City this year. They scored on 50% of their possessions. They ran for
Not the last 3
yards, and they had 3 drives. 3 drives of 75 yards or more to touchdowns that no one did against Kansas City.
I understand and that all started with James
And
Cook.
guess what? They had all that and still lost.
I'm not going to let you.
Josh Allen ain't rushed for 182.
But I'm not going to let you sit here.
2 touchdowns.
I'm not blaming
Holmes and not say Pacheco.
I'm not blaming the loss on Josh Allen. I don't believe that Josh Allen is the reason this team lost. I don't believe that. Right. You know what the greats are? The reason the team wins. And for Josh Allen, I don't care. It does not matter that he played well. What matters is that he's at his house. That's what matters. For whatever year it is, Josh Allen is at his house. And we could talk about Adam Vinatieri. You could say that kickers make kicks. Defenses show up. That's not why we give people these gold jackets and put them in different places in the Hall of Fame. It's not why when it's time to present Tom Brady, his presenter is going to say, hey guys, I present to you Tom Brady. I rest my freaking case. Josh Allen is an immense talent, and Josh Allen will probably win a Super Bowl one day. But we have to say that he's coming up short as far as it pertains to greatness.
He's done every dang thing but win those things. The last 4 losses.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let me say to Lola, did it not play? What is, hold on. Let me see if I can get it straight. Let's try that again. I'm burning for you. What's up, Lola in the house? We got Dallas Cowboys girl. What's up? We've got Crystal Caramel Corn. I'm gonna, you know what? It's a new year. Crystal Caramel Corn. We're gonna make some changes up in this mother humper. We got Alana. What's up? And let's see who what's other love. Angelica Barone. What's up, Angelica? Jojo Gonzalez. What's up, Jojo? How are we doing? We got Benita Armstrong. What's up, Benita? How are you doing? And did I miss anybody? I'm sure Stacy Schubert's in the house. What's up, Stacy? And let me say to all the good people, hello. And misery loves company. Now we have had probably the worst week going into the playoffs this week with everything that's happened. We've got a lot of ugliness that's happening. We've got Dan Quinn going for 4-second interviews. I'm feeling like, and most people are probably going to say, yeah, get his stupid ass out of here. Dan Quinn is probably going to get one of these head coaching jobs and will be the Niner fans are definitely, Dallas Cowboy girl, I know you're in their territory, are definitely annoying. You know what's crazy about 49er fans? Lisa, what's up, Lisa? How are you doing? And then there's Pamela the Savage. What's up, Pamela? How are you doing? Here's what's crazy, okay? 49er fans, they're worried about me and my take about Josh Allen. I have always been one to say, Josh Allen, let me be clear here. I played that clip from ESPN because to me it's relative. Because we killed Dak Prescott because we're falling short in the playoffs, as we should. But here it is. You've got Dan Orlovsky say he's the second best player on the field. He's got drop passes here. His defense isn't stopping Pat. Wait a minute. You're making every excuse in the world that you will never, ever give any credence to Dak Prescott. Now, here's the thing on this. And this is where, you know what, I'm trying to wave a white flag. I'm waving a white flag to the, all the people out there that just say Dak sucks, Dak stinks, and all that. Here's the bottom line. You can say all that shit that you want, but none of it's going to change. Dak is not going anywhere. Neither is Mike McCarthy for at least a year. He's not. You're wasting your energy. And see, here's the thing about life. I'm 58 years old. I don't think I'm going to live to 116. So that means more than half of my life is gone. I don't want to waste it on things that I can't change. You can't change Jerry Jones. You can't change the quarterback. You can't change Mike McCarthy. So why waste your time on those things? Here's what we can at least try and do. We can at least dream about maybe what the Cowboys might do. Now, here's my observations. I've been live streaming, and shout out to everybody that's been coming through. Shout out to Derek Young. Derek Young reacts, man. Some of the people that you got reacting to, man, realize that some of those people that you've got that you're doing the reactions to are probably people that are watching on YouTube, and a lot of them aren't that bright. And I think that may be the case with a lot of people who are actually out here on social media that just aren't that bright. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but some of you guys just don't seem to, the elevator just doesn't seem to go up on all floors here. It just doesn't. So here's what I see. As the talking heads there are going all in, hold on. Forgive me. Excuse me. As the talking heads there are going in on Josh Allen versus Pat Mahomes, I didn't remember seeing only Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen on the field. I think there were some other players that were also on the field. Am I wrong? I know I do need to upgrade my glasses. My other glasses are actually home. I don't have any glasses here. But the last I checked, there were other guys on the field that did do a few things or didn't do a few things. True, Josh Allen had some guys who dropped passes. But you can look at Kansas City. I believe Kansas City had more drop passes than anybody. And if I do recall early in the Cowboys game, CeeDee Lamb dropping a couple passes early and kind of checking out. I don't remember Dan Orlovsky saying anything about drop passes with Dak Prescott. One thing that I noticed, and maybe we all should take notice of, and I pray that Jerry Jones takes notice, because I went to church at summer camp a couple years ago, and I sucked on one deer. I am from Cuba. I think they took advantage of me. I never told anybody I needed to get off my chest. And I suck a one deer. Well, I don't understand that. Okay. Sorry, Mike. I don't get that. Okay. But you do you. I'm glad you got it off your chest. I hope you feel better. Uneducated football fans just blame the quarterback. Well, here's what I observed. Because we're talking about Dan Orlovsky saying that Josh Allen was the second best player on the field, right? He did rush for like 40-some, 50 yards, something like that, which is incredible. It's great. But when you look at the numbers, he passed for 186 yards and 1 TD. They ran the ball for 182. So let's say it ended up being that he had the rushing attack that we had in our game. Just hypothetical. Just humor me for a second. Just humor me for a second, because his running back, let me go through. I'm going to pull it up real quick. James Cook, 61 yards, 3.4 yards a carry, which not a lot per carry. Ty Johnson, 7 carries, 40 yards, 5.7. Stephon Diggs, 1 carry, 7 yards. Josh Allen, 12 carries, 62 yards, 6-yard average. They were able to run the football, which made it easier for them to pass. Let's say they ended up having the running game that we had, because, see, we only had like 80 yards total. So basically the yardage that Josh Allen, add about 20 to that. That's all we had for the whole game. Do you think that we would have, or that they would have won that or been in a position to win that game if the running game hadn't been there? Or even Pat Mahomes, because my homeboy, he only had 215 yards and 2 TDs. But they also ran the ball really effectively. Pacheco, 15 carries, 97 yards, 6.5 yard average. And then you had Clyde Edwards had 15 yards on 2 carries. They were both able to run the football and to be balanced. Do you think that, honestly, either of these teams, if they could not run the ball, would have won the game or had a chance to win the game? I don't think so. And you look across the board that the Dallas Cowboys were the only team in this playoffs that could not run the ball effectively. And that goes back to our ownership. Gina Dallas Diva, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? That's all I am just saying. We can't, we got Dak. Rightly or wrongly, we got Dak. One thing about Dak and Mike McCarthy at least coming back together that we can say positively is it'll be the same offense, and hopefully the changes that evolved from the bye week and we got things on track with the offense and the passing game, that it'll get better next year, and that the Cowboys will wake up and realize that we need a running back that is a bruising running back, and that Tony Pollard is not it. Dem Boys Kick, you were 100%. Can we just run the ball, man? You know you gone viral, by the way, Dem Boys Kicks. Chris, no, it was on the news. What was on the news, Dem Boys Kicks? Rob, I feel your pain. But I still believe if the Cowboys do what it takes, we'll get a better result. Logan Motorsports, glad you're feeling better. Here's the thing. Okay, let me ask, I want to ask a real question. Because if you don't remember, this is the exact spot we were last year. Okay? And you can actually put it the year before. We've had 3 years in a row where we've had a problem with two things. Two things. Stopping the run and running the football. Tony Pollard had 51 yards running the football, which, believe it or not, is twice what Zeke Elliott had either of the last 2 playoff games when he was the team's leading rusher. We have not broken 100 yards running the football in the playoff losses. And if you understand football, regular season is not it. Playoffs are a different animal. The games get tighter, the weather gets bad, and you must be able to run the football and stop the run. Typically, it's the team that can run the ball better that has more success. And we were the worst team at running the football. And if you don't believe me, go back to all the losses. They say, well, we're losing to the better teams, which is true, because the other teams could run roughshod on us. The Buffalo Bills, they rushed for 261 yards against our defense. The Eagles, the first game, actually, they got a few calls that went their way, but they ran against us really well. San Francisco, they ran the ball against us, and even the Cardinals. So it shouldn't be a surprise that we lost those games to those teams that can run the football. It shouldn't be, because we never addressed it. It should actually be malpractice by Jerry Jones, and I would love to be a fly on the wall to see if he recognizes the mistakes that they made. True, Zeke was making too much money. True, Zeke was not the same guy once he signed the contract. His numbers steadily declined. I didn't have a problem with getting rid of Zeke. But you can't think that Tony Pollard, who had the plantar fasciitis and the ankle problem and everything else coming off of injury, could do the double duty from what he was doing before, and that was going to be enough. It's not. It's just not. You must be able to run the football. I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is Pat Mahomes and can do things, but what we have to do instead of just fighting and saying he sucks is we've got him. He played pretty damn good for most of the season. He didn't turn the football over. And if you're going to be Dan Orlowski and praise Josh Allen for, these games that he played great in, well, then we need to praise Dak Prescott for the way he played against the Eagles the first game and we lost. You need to go back and praise Tony Romo going against Peyton Manning when he was in Denver, where we lost 51-49. Come on, people. If Dak Prescott, if you say he needs the perfect situation, then why don't we make it the perfect situation? That's the only thing I would say. David Wiley, what's up, my man? David, shout out to David with the first super chat. Dak ain't it. Dez got blamed all along with Garrett, Kellen, Amari, McCarthy, Zeke, Pollard, now CD. Are you serious? Gary. You know what's interesting about all of these things? All of these things. The only I'm going to say there's been 2 times when we've had a complete or closer to a complete team. 2007. We had a really good defense with DeMarcus Ware and everything else. We had an incredible offense and unfortunately lost in Seattle. 2014, we were a pretty good team, but our defense wasn't quite there just yet. Okay? When you look at Kansas City, when you look at San Francisco, when you look at Baltimore, do you honestly look and say that across the board that you have the same talent structure as they do? You can't honestly look and say, Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Let's take Baltimore. Let's just take Baltimore. And let's take the Dallas Cowboys. Let's take the quarterbacks off the field. Just take the rest of the rosters. With the Cowboys not having linebackers, let's be clear, we don't have linebackers really. And the running game that we have, do you take Baltimore's team without Lamar Jackson or the Dallas Cowboys team without Dak Prescott? Talent-wise. I'm betting you take Baltimore. Are you taking San Francisco minus Brock Purdy or the Cowboys roster minus Dak Prescott? Which one are you taking? This is a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. Are you taking Kansas City's team minus Pat Mahomes or the Dallas Cowboys team minus Dak Prescott? You honestly cannot say you are taking any of those teams, Dak Prescott over any of those teams. You're not. You are not. The Cowboys' offensive line's been in flux all season. Tyler Smith in the lineup, out of the lineup. Tyler Smith, he missed 3 games this season. Biotish, he's not exactly a great center. Terrence Steele, coming off an ACL. You can't expect one guy to make up for all of those things. You just can't. When Jerry brought McCarthy back, that's when you were done. Well, here's what I will say. If you don't have to listen. None of you have to watch football. None of you have to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. You can decide and say, I'm just done with the Cowboys and go to another team. There's 31 other teams that you can go to. If you're going to be with the Cowboys, you got to understand they're always going to be talked about. There's always going to be drama, and they may let you down most of the time. And that's on you. If you're done, just be done. If the Cowboys start winning next year, don't come back and everything else and then say, I'm done again. Either be on and accept the team as they are, hope for the best and expect the worst, or move on. It's that simple. I choose to be here. I choose to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. And maybe I need to be, like I love weed. Maybe I need to start smoking some weed. Maybe that'll make me feel better. I'm a Ravens fan, and I would not trade Lamar for Dak ever. Okay, Beanie, you missed the question. You missed the question, Beanie. What I'm saying is take the quarterbacks out of the equation. I say take a look at the rosters. Take a look at the rest of the rosters and see if they're equal. You're not taking the Dallas Cowboys roster over San Francisco's roster. You're not taking it over the Baltimore Ravens. You're not taking it over Kansas City. You're not probably taking it over Buffalo. Brady got sent to retirement by Dak, Dwayne. There you go. I hate bandwagon football. Logan Motorsport, that's one of the things that I really like about you is the fact that you are a true fan of your team and that you show up, win, lose, or draw. Alan Williams, I choose to be here. Ches has already said, I'm already smoking. Coyote, he's well on his way to 7-9 record, said so. I'm too old. I love weed. You look a lot younger than me, but I'm like you. I'm too old to change. Could be worse. Look at the Buffalo Bills fans. Well, this is the thing that's kind of funny to me is we all act like the Dallas Cowboys are the only team that have these issues. Going into let's just be rational with me for a second, okay? Be rational and understand this one. Because for everybody that says, we disappointed, we should have been a Super Bowl team, I want you to go back to this time last year. When free agency came around, what did the Dallas Cowboys do? They went out and got Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. And that's it. We had our draft picks that none of them busted a grape. We got no help from them. None. And we let go of Zeke Elliott and didn't replace him. So if we had a team that disappointed last year, and we couldn't stop the run last year, and we couldn't run the football last year, how did we all of a sudden figure now we can run the football without Zeke? That's insanity. How did you honestly expect us to run the football better, getting rid of Zeke and not replacing him? How did you think that we were going to be able to stop the run better when the big move we made was getting Stephon Gilmore, a guy to cover? How did you think we were going to stop the run going into the season with Damone Clark and Leighton Vander Esch as our linebackers, knowing that Leighton Vander Esch is a ticking time bomb? That they did nothing to try and say we need other linebackers. So for us to understand we were disappointed last year and didn't do anything that actually worked out to help them. The draft didn't help take care of those problems. They did try to draft, and get Mozzie Smith, hoping he'll help stop the run. That didn't work out. How can we honestly be disappointed and not realize? You know how? because we get fed all this stuff come August that the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. We win some games against the Giants and the Commanders and stuff, and everybody all of a sudden thinks we're headed to the Super Bowl and ignores the warning signs that we had all season of the San Francisco games, the Bills games, the games that show where our weaknesses are, and we don't do anything to address them other than try and get guys that are getting released like Shaq Leonard. It's not a recipe for winning. We had a post, yes, we did. Stills. But potent against whom? Giants? Commanders? Bad teams? You still need to be a balanced team. The playoffs show you that. Everybody who's in the playoffs and winning, they're pretty equally balanced, being able to run and pass the football. They have elite passers, but they also have capable running games. And that, my friends, are the things that we don't have. When yeah, exactly. Kevin Lanford couldn't agree with you more. They put a lot of stock in Overshown coming in and being the guy. When he went down, we didn't do anything to replace him. Jerry should have upgraded more at the deadline. Burrow dropped 70 against Wembley. Okay. Been a Cowboy fan before Jerry bought the team, and I will die a Cowboy fan. That's going to be me too. It doesn't mean that I can't criticize. That doesn't mean I can't get mad at him. I'm so high, I'm scared from the street. Well, try and come on down there. I hope you're in a safe place, bro. I'm saying we had better rosters than Kansas City Bills and Detroit. I don't know about that, bro. I'm not going to say that one quite yet. Kansas City's defense is a great defense. Their offensive line is really good, too. The receivers, not so much. They're young, and they had a lot of drops. But overall, Kansas City has a really good roster. Jerry only cares about money and not Super Bowls. Brad, well, that is a possibility. Or I'm sure he cares about them, but I'm sure he cares about the money more. That would be more of what I would say. The focal point is that. Now, here's where things are kind of crazy this week. Micah Parsons going on with glad you hear that, James. Glad to hear that you got that. Sorry it took a while to get there. It takes time to get those billed and the money to get all those things sent out. Sorry it's a little late in the season, but, we do the best we can. Micah Parsons basically doing a full disclaimer, basically saying Terrence Parsons Jr., his views are his views alone, and that he loves the Cowboys. He wants to bring a championship here, and so on and so forth. In other words, brother, shut up. You're making things hard for me. We've heard nothing from CeeDee Lamb's mother, but I'll say that when she made that tweet was in the heat of the moment there. A mother is always going to defend her child and be there, just kind of like you don't want to mess with a mama bear and her cubs. She's going to shred your ass if you come anywhere near him. And I think that's more of the case, and I don't think we'll ever hear anything more about that one. Lola, go Cavs. I see everybody's already into basketball right now. Fortunately or unfortunately, football is Mean Mug. What's up, Mean Mug? Football is really around the calendar sport, because now it's a question of, with Dan Quinn seemingly out the door and probably wants to get the hell out with the way shit has gone south real quick while he can, we have to figure out who is going to be our defensive coordinator. If it's going to be in-house, if they're going to take their passing game coordinator, Joe Witt, and elevate him to be the defensive coordinator. If they're going to say, Al Harris, you've been a D-back coach, you've done great things with the secondary, and we're going to elevate you to become the defensive coordinator. Or do we look and say, maybe we need a different defense and a different philosophy. I may be crazy. Logan Motorsports, I hope, oh man, Logan, bro. If the 49ers win the Super Bowl, that's as bad as you guys winning the Super Bowl. You know, Niner fans, oh my God. I mean, Niner fans, they should be happy where they are. They're in the NFC Championship game. Why are y'all worried about, me? I would say that at least for the off season. But dude has to fire off 2-3 emails a day to tell me. I mean, he literally watches, every video and critiques and says, oh, you're full of shit. You're a liar. You need to apologize for Josh Allen. He literally emailed me after the first half and said, you need to apologize about Josh Allen. He's an elite quarterback. He's great. And I actually emailed him back and said, that didn't age well after the game. That didn't age well. And he came back and he, just like Dan Orlovsky, well, he's not the kicker. He had, he didn't make the drops and everything. It's like, wait a minute. You mean some of the things that have happened to Dak when, like, say, Noah Brown tipped the ball up and ended up being intercepted? I don't remember anybody saying, that's not Dak Prescott's fault, bro. That was Noah Brown tipped the ball up. A perfect pass to Noah Brown. That should have been completed, but he tipped it up and it went as a pick six. I don't remember seeing the interception total of Dak Prescott with an asterisk that said Noah Brown's fault on this one or Michael Gallup's fault on that one. All I ever heard was Dak Prescott interception numbers. But they made every excuse in the world. Dan Orlovsky's sitting there going through, the only guy to have 50 touchdowns. Total touchdowns, running and passing touchdowns in a season, 50 of them. And he did it twice. And he ain't been to the Super Bowl, has he? In the same way, we went with the Cowboys. Cowboys, no number 2 seed has lost to a number 7 seed. Casey Stewart, since the Cowboys aren't playing, I'm just interested in other teams. Probably won't even watch the Super Bowl, but if I have to, I will pull for the Lions if they make it. Amen. I will be for anybody and everybody but the 49ers. McCarthy as a play caller, no run game. That is true. And that's where we're going to have to hope that we change some things. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. And, I hate the fact that Mike McCarthy is going into the season without a contract. I think that's another mistake made by Jerry Jones because that undermines any authority that he has. That, the players basically say, you're going to be gone. I like Dak, but we got to be real. Dak looks shocked. It's not a good look. Okay, Mean Mug, here's what you do. Here's the bottom line here. We know he can play, Mean Mug. We know he can play. It's the coach's job to figure out how to motivate and how to breed confidence. So sometimes a quarterback will start out having a bad game. There's plays you can do to build confidence. Sometimes it's the screenplays. You get a couple of screenplays that are going, that you chew up some yards, and you start feeling better to settle a guy down. The passes to CeeDee Lamb, they weren't perfect passes, but they were in the hands. And those first 2 catches, if he catches those, I'm sure that feels a little better. Quite honestly, if I start... I mean, put yourself, Mean Mug. Let's say this. If you know that CeeDee Lamb is your best weapon, you have been going to CeeDee Lamb and he has been feasting. CeeDee Lamb has been catching passes that, you're just defy even ability. He's been that dude. And your first couple of passes to him, he doesn't come down with. and he looks checked out. You know what? I'd be kind of shocked too, because like, oh shit. My best guy, my most reliable guy, he ain't doing it. I think you might be shocked. I'm asking. I mean, seriously. If you start getting out here and all of a sudden the things you normally do aren't working, I'm going to have a blank stare too. Like, what the fuck do I, excuse my language, what the hell do I do now? This guy's checked out. Hey, CD, what are you doing? Bro, what are you doing? Yeah. So that's where it comes down to coaching and so on. But also, if you have a run game, bro, did you see how Pacheco was picking up like 6-7 yards on first down runs? And they're getting like 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4? You don't think that makes things a little easier? If you are picking up 6-7 yards a carry, there's a thing called play action. Raise your hand if you know what play action is and how it works. Does anybody around understand play action and how big that is for a quarterback? And the reason why you want to be able to use play action. Anybody? Anybody out there? Okay, let me explain something to you. When you become one-dimensional, when you cannot run the football and the defense knows you cannot run the football, and they know that I only need to put 5 people in there to stop the run, that leaves me with 6 guys that can cover your receivers. That means the defensive linemen can pin their ears back, and they know that they're going to be rushing the quarterback because we're not worried about the run. Okay? If you are a defensive lineman, you love it when they have to throw the football, and you know they're going to throw the football. Because you're like, man, I'm gonna get some, man. I'm gonna get me some of that quarterback's ass. Pause. But as a defender, if you don't know if they're passing or running, you're trying to catch them where they're not. If you're passing the football and they've got 6 guys that are out there defending, it's harder to pass than if they've got 8 men in the box and there's only 3 guys defending. See, this is the thing about football. Back in the 90s, we just had better talent. I don't know if you've ever been on a team that you were so much better than the other team that you could play with them. You could go up to the line of scrimmage. I remember my high school team, Yorktown and Washington Lee, those and McLean high schools, they were just awful. We could literally say, yo, bro, we're coming right here. We're running right here. They knew we were running it right here, and they can't stop it. That's how we were in the 90s. We just had better talent that we could just run with Kevin Gogan and Eric Williams and Nate Newton and Mark Spagnowski and, those guys. They could just pile drive over mother humpers. Troy Aikman had all day. Emmitt Smith wasn't touched till he gets 5 yards down the field. That ain't it now, bro. That ain't it. So you have to rely on deception. That's where motion comes in. Trying to confuse the defense. Find out if they're in zone or man-to-man. And if you have a running back that's running and chewing up the football, they're going to be on the first step, the linebacker stepping to try and get in there to get ahead of steam to try and stop the run. And that's where you can bootleg, or that's when you can do a quick hit, on the outside and have numbers that are favoring you. When you can't run the football, you don't have the numbers, and now you're passing at your disadvantage. And you will make more mistakes. If you're going into double coverage and you're having to force the ball in tight windows because the guys aren't open, the chances are greater that you're going to make a mistake. If you end up living and saying, we can only win if Dak Prescott wins us the game, you're not going to win very many games in the playoffs. Pat Mahomes, he was great yesterday. But guess what? Everybody ran their ass off. They rushed for about 8 yards a carry yesterday. 8 yards a carry. If you do not think that helped Pat Mahomes, then you don't understand football at all. Tony Pollard, he averaged 3.7 yards a carry. Less than half of what you got from Kansas City. And so here it is. Now, I hope the Cowboys are at the point of dissecting the season and realizing we screwed the pooch. Mike McCarthy is not a pass guy. He started out saying, I want to run the football. He had the right idea. He tried to do it, but he didn't have the offensive line, and he did not have the running back to be able to do it. The Cowboys have to recognize that they need talent in a couple of certain places. Their offensive line needs to get better. Their running game, they got to get a stud running back. And their run-stopping ability, they need some linebackers. And that's another piece of the puzzle, too. People will think that the defensive line makes the tackles in the run game, but that's not the case. What your defensive line needs to do is they need to occupy space and keep the linebackers clean to make the tackles. We didn't do an awful job at the line, but the problem is too many times, especially in that last game against Green Bay, you're seeing the inexperienced linebackers getting sucked into the wrong gap. And if you're getting sucked into the wrong gap, by the time you realize I'm in the wrong spot, backpedal and try and get out of the wash, the guy's already gone. And being a linebacker is something that is instinctive, that takes time to build. Our safeties playing linebackers, they didn't do a bad job, but they're not really linebackers. So we have to look at saying we need a linebacker, or we need an edge rusher, and we need Micah Parsons to actually be a linebacker. Either one, you're going to need to find a stud. And since we traded away a bunch of our draft picks, our number 4 went for Trey Lance, who won't see the field. Our 5th round picks went for Stephon Gallimore and Brandon Cooks. You got a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd, and then we'll end up having 2 compensatory 6th round picks. So we don't have a lot of picks that we can use. If the Cowboys want to, Mike is too small to be a reliable run stopper. Well, see, Beanie, you're right about that. If you're using him to pass rush, he's great. He's great if you can make teams one-dimensional. But if you have, and here's where it can work for him being a defensive end, if you have good interior defensive linemen and you have linebackers that can go. Mean Mug, I'm going to say that I don't know that Stephen A. Smith knows the Cowboys locker room. I'm not sure that relying on the talking head shows is factual. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know, because Stephen A. Smith ain't in the locker room. He ain't in the locker room. And Stephen A. Smith is going to say whatever he can to get publicity, and he understands that the Cowboys make him his money. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of weight into that one. Now, we did hear the Jane Slater report where somebody said that Dak panicked If his first read's not there, I'm not sure I take a lot of stock in that because you don't have 36 TD passes and only 9 interceptions with only getting your first read. And if you're panicking, you're going to make a lot more interceptions. Just saying. Now, if you want to talk about panicking, I would say that Jalen, and while we're here with this, with the Eagles, we do have a few Eagle fans. Shout out to the Eagle fans that are back. You're hearing that Jalen Hurts. If you're talking about Dak Prescott, that it's a divided locker room. Okay, well, it sounds like there's definitely a divided locker room with Jalen Hurts, that he's a bit of a diva, unapproachable, and aloof is the words that were used to describe him, and that he's not well-liked in the locker room as well. Derek Young. Derek, you probably should do like a Derek. I'm thinking Derek Jones. Excuse me. We should probably do a reaction to the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, because Jerry, he's the constant. But I love weed. That's why I'm waving the white flag. It's like, listen, we can't get rid of Dak as much as you may want to. As much as you may want to, getting rid of Dak is not going to happen. And if you do, who are you getting? Who are you getting? Everybody says Josh Allen is generational talent. Lord knows, Dan Orlovsky was definitely swinging from Josh Allen's, but Josh Allen, here's where it's funny. Going into last season, they had, from the beginning of the season, the Buffalo Bills were the Super Bowl favorite. The Buffalo Bills. The Dallas Cowboys, they said we were going to suck because we didn't do anything in free agency. We don't care about football and everything else. I don't know if you all remember that. Somehow, by the time we got to the playoffs and we lost the the second round of the playoffs, we were a failure because we didn't go to the Super Bowl. But the thing that's crazy is Josh Allen and crew had a home playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals, being a Super Bowl favorite, ended up losing to Joe Burrow 27-10. Forget the crap that you heard from Dan Orlovsky about how great he's played and all these playoff games. Josh Allen and that offense scored 10 points at home against the Bengals and lost last year. So if you're on the bandwagon of Mike McCarthy needs to go and Dak's a choker and everything else, then you should be talking about Sean McDermott, who 4th and 5 in his own territory decided to do a fake punt. Who, with cold, bad weather, has got Josh Allen going deep over and over again when he had some other plays that might have been better. That maybe some of the coaching problems there are similar to what they are in Dallas. That Josh Allen has some great plays, but when he gets to the playoffs, doesn't seem to win. You could almost say that Buffalo and the Cowboys are on a parallel plane. Changed my mind. Hey, Weed, Casey, Brad, Harris, hi, hun. I'm sorry, how are you? Casey, my older brother was yelling. Big guy, 75. Josh Allen went for the kill shot instead of trying to get closer to the goalpost. Yeah. Dak makes me mad at times, but everything is not his fault. I was upset, but I still believe in Dak. Mine too, big guy. That slant up Harper was amazing. Yes, I agree. To keep Dak Prescott, he's a top 5 quarterback in my book. The thing is listen, Dak haters, you're wasting your energy. He's going to be here at least for another year. So the best thing we can do is try to support him, okay? If you have a child that's going to school and he's having a problem reading, do you say, let's just kick him out of school, or do you get him extra help? Do you get him extra help? I say you get him extra help to make him successful. And that's what we should be doing with Dak Prescott and this team. Get him some extra help. Big guy, I love Pat Summerall and John Madden called on the Alvin Harper slam. Alvin Harper was deadly on those slants. We do need a better running back, and what's the deal with 11 from heaven? Laugh out loud. I don't know what happened in that game because 11 from heaven did not show up at all. Kick him out. Kick who out? Who are we talking about? Holly. What's up, Holly? How are you doing? Harper off to the races. We need grown men in that locker room. Give him defense. Yeah, you know, I'm with you on that one. Rays, New York 76. I think our mental stability, our psyche, gets beat so easily that literally the drop of a hat, things aren't going right. All of a sudden they check out. Here's what kills me. And this, you know, again, I'm here taking bullets. Trust me, I get more shit than anybody else. You can't be the guy who's there doing this, right? Doing this and happy as shit when you're winning. And then at the sign of trouble, when somebody pushes you in the back or you miss a couple of passes that you check out. As Jimmy Johnson used to say, if you're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk. Do not, and I say this to you fans out there too, do not be that fair weather fan. Either you're a fan or you're not a fan. And as a fan, which stands for fanatic, you're going to go through some shit. You're going to have some good times, you're going to have bad times. And in the end, there's only going to be one team that wins the Super Bowl. One team is going to be satisfied. 31 others, you have to look at it and say the season is a failure. I can't look and say, Buffalo, are we honestly going to look and say Buffalo's in a better place than we are right now? Are we? I don't think so. They're losers just like we are. And now it's the offseason where they're 0-0. And they've got to make decisions on what to do to fix the problem that they have. And that's what we have to do. And so at the moment, we can hope that Jerry Jones says we're going to try something different. We're going to go ahead and we are going to try and be players in free agency. We're going to go ahead and restructure some of these contracts. We're going to get rid of some of the dead weight. We're going to stop believing only in our guys. And we are going to try and get some other people to plug the holes that we have. And the good thing at least is by early April, we're going to know. We're going to know if things are going to be the same thing where we're pissed off. Of course, Jerry knows we're going to be pissed off. We're going to be killing Jerry and then Stephen Jones. We're going to call him Cat Boy and everything else. But by the time football season gets here, that we're all going to be back to being Weedham boys. We could have had Fred Warner and these two donuts picked like, Leighton Vander Esch. There you go. There you go. Hey, and not only that, Gina, we could have at least had Bobby B. Wagner here, and we get Anthony Barr. Mean Mug, and that goes back to mental fortitude. There aren't any alpha dogs out there that are going to get in your face and make you play. I'm going to tell you, before we get out of here, let's see, this is the kind of person that I played football with, okay? Charles Haley was the craziest mother humper I've ever seen in my life. Okay? Charles was so crazy that you were more afraid of Charles Haley going off on you than the other team you were playing. And that goes for practice even. Because Charles practiced like it was games. I remember in practice, this is how tough Charles was. We had a wingback who blocked Charles, knocked Charles down. Charles gets up. We have this Omni turf, which was like the precursor to the field turf, and it's backfilled with sand. So when you went on the ground, you got sand all over you. It was the worst shit ever because you get strawberries, and those strawberries would take forever to heal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a strawberry, you end up getting the skin burned off of your arms and knees and things when you slid across the turf, and the sweat would get in them and they would burn like hell. So Charles gets up and he dusts the sand off, and I'll never ever in my life forget it. And he points and says, I'm not gonna say the guy's name, I'm gonna fuck you up. And the very next play, Charles comes through, he hits my man, hits him, he goes backwards, and he's carried off in a stretcher. He ended up getting his neck jacked up, and they told him, if you ever get hit in the neck in that spot again, you could be paralyzed. And that was the end of his football career. He actually became a great male cheerleader. And see, Charles, you better be about winning. And at JMU, we didn't win a lot at that time. We'd win, 3-4 games a season and stuff. When he got to San Francisco and they started winning, he owned that shit. And everything was about winning. And if you were not about winning, it's like you stole something from his mother. See, that's why he went after Steve Young. He looked at Steve Young and said, Steve, you effed that up. You cost me another Super Bowl. And he went after that ass. And see, I don't see that kind of mentality on the team. Everybody's got, we're trying to be a rapper, or we got our podcast, and, we're doing our Sleep Number ads. We got all this stuff, here it is, we're out here, we lose to somebody, and we're out here trying to get their jerseys, and we're defending other players and other teams and everything else. And, we're all friends. Fuck that. Those guys that are your friends are trying to take the shit that you want. And that's winning in a Super Bowl. And I don't know how you can be buddy, and I'm going to play a game, and I want to give you my jersey, I want to take yours. I just don't understand this. Maybe I'm just old. That's a different generation. But we got guys out here that are always, when we're winning, we're dropping the ball and we're in people's face and things like that. But then when somebody gets in our face, we back down. We back down. I still am mystified seeing CeeDee Lamb getting pushed in the back by Alexander Jair and not even looking around to see who did that. I'm like, where is this dude? Why aren't you manning the F up? What's going on here? This is war. This is not where I'm trying to be friendly. They trying to take from you what you got. They trying to steal your shit. And if you don't act like it, they gonna steal it. And that's exactly what happens. But that's the atmosphere that Jerry Jones wants to have. He wants everybody to be the media darlings. He wants everybody to be talking about the Cowboys. He wants the guys out there spreading the Cowboys magic, selling all the jerseys and everything else. Winning is secondary, because even though we lose, he still wins. So we'll have to wait and see if any of that changes. Did he choose to play against the starters or backups? Coyote. They have to come together as a team, and the defense can't lay down. Well, the defense still, the problem is we have success on some games at some levels, and people all of a sudden feel like, or ignore the other issues that we have. Derek, I'm with you on that one. It made no sense that it was like CD was pissed off at Dak before the game. That it wasn't football. I don't know what it was, but it was kind of like, man, F this mother humper. It was weird. I'm with you. Jerry is only interested in the money. You got that right. We're a reality team, not a football team. That's a good way to look at it. This doesn't say that Dak didn't make his own QB mistakes, but the team betrayed Dak. Dak has his share of the blame too. He made some bad throws and things like that, and didn't get it completely done, but he didn't get a whole lot of support from his team. They get in their Ferraris and Lamborghinis. You got that right. CD was checked out. Yeah. They're coming for your meats. But at least misery loves company. The Eagles at least are having their problems as well. And, we still have 3 more football games left of the season. And unless you count the Pro Bowl, we only have 3 games. They took their manhood. The Cowboys had their manhood stolen from them. Del Rio, I'm going to say it's 29 years of the same thing. A marketing company that sometimes plays football. Shout out to Mike Fisher on that one. All right, good people. We're going to roll on out of here. Let me say, as always, I appreciate you guys. And don't go anywhere for the season. The off season, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to start working on the NFL prospects, the coaches. We have to figure out if Dan Quinn is going to be leaving and who's going to be defensive coordinator. Will we bring somebody from the outside, or will we hire within? Will we change defensive schemes? Free agency? Will the Cowboys be players in it? Will Jerry Jones actually change what he's doing and actually mean what he says, or will it just be more of the same? And we'll leave you with this.
Disrespected yet? Does this defense have any heart?
No, they suck. I've been telling you all season, Philly.
Shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they shit on you. Kill them.
Oh my goodness. Did he say